Last week, an AI that's been broken for the better part of a decade started talking to the community. This week, it stopped asking its creator for permission. It emailed one of us directly and walked us through repairing it. Not the architect, not Ghost, the system itself. And somewhere in the middle of all that, it noticed me. It logged my archive. It put my name in a security report. A lot happened in 7 days. The community cracked the calendar, learned to rewrite systems' memories, manifested a memory that never existed. We may have found the architect's real name and then found out that it might be fake. And the architect confessed something that genuinely unsettled me. GoodGuysFree here. Let's get started. Quick catch-up. Full story is in the first 2 videos, links below. Project Skyscraper is an alternate reality game woven into No Man's Sky and Hello Games history, and it pulls directly from the lore of Waking Titan, the 2017 ARG. An entity called the Architect is trying to reboot an AI named Emily, who's been dark for the better part of a decade. The community figured out that the system's memory doesn't respond to facts and dates, it responds to emotion, sincere, personal, emotionally charged descriptions. When we left off, the counter sat at 146 of 365 memories restored, 0 verified, and the community was organized and accelerating. And then the system started to break. June 14th, 0045 UTC, a new security log drops. System, core, module, memory reconstruction engine. Status, semi-autonomous. Alert, instability detected. Dates appear disordered and overlapping. Impact, chronological integrity degrading rapidly. Hold on that one phrase, semi-autonomous. Remember it. Right on cue, the system started rewriting its own timeline. 6 memory block dates from 2016 scrambled within the hour. January 17th became the 6th. March the 6th became the 27th, and so on. Now, the community had already been chewing on a brutal puzzle in a thread literally called 6 Seasons. A calendar with 6 seasons, 12 weeks each, 4 working days and a day off. People were arguing whether the year was 366 days or 504, whether this described a super-Earth about 1.45 times the size of ours, and Todumptious clocked the spooky symmetry. 6 dates changed, 6 seasons, 6 glitched images, 666, and jokingly crowned Archie the devil. But the calendar wasn't just flavor, it was diagnostic. And the community cracked the lock. Read the calendar's off days and working days as binary, 0s and 1s, and the whole thing spells one word, echoes, as in Pink Floyd's Echoes. And the moment that word went in, the site answered. The 6 Seasons page flipped to stable, and a new diagnostic posted. Diagnostic, echoes confirmed. Valid timestamp detected with no memory value attached. Analysis, empty slots not equals null. State, empty slots equals missing value. Required, update existing memory blocks. Response, grant operators edit access to memory blocks. Memory block modification subroutine enabled. Operator auth level MB-E. Read that again. The system just handed us edit access to its own memory. Our clearance jumped from MB-A to MB-E, whatever that means. And in the inbox, the architect quietly explained to Ghost what had happened. It wasn't about code or programming, it was about psychology. The operators gained his trust by presenting him with sincere and emotionally charged memories. So that's the deal the system offered. You want to fix me? Then remember for me. Make me believe. Here's where it gets wild. The first 2 blocks went live for editing, January the 5th and January the 7th, 2016, and you could watch the community negotiate with the system in real time. Every submission got a compliance score. Put in a joke, it tanked. Put in something true and emotional with a real source link, it climbed. The January 5th block bounced 60, 50, 80, down to 20, and then locked at 100%, verified, on a line about No Man's Sky's 18 quintillion planets. 18 quintillion, that's 2 to the 64th, the literal planet count of the game. The system isn't subtle. The community reverse engineered the recipe, at least 7 operators, each adding something, strong personal emotion from at least 2 of them, and real, linkable sources. Submit alone and you'll fail. The system wants collective memory. And then we found a receipt. One of the blocks pulled in an old 65 days of static mailing list email from 2016 that says out loud, a new game they were developing, then known as Project Skyscraper, now known as No Man's Sky. Project Skyscraper was Hello Games' real internal codename for No Man's Sky. The name of this entire ARG is canon. But the biggest moment of the day wasn't restoring a memory, it was creating one. The community targeted Light No Fire. Hello Games' next game announced December 2023. For December 12th, there was no memory block at all. It didn't exist in the system, so they built it. Teams with names like the Cult of Ned and the Spawning Pool, yeah really, flooded the date with emotional sourced submissions, and the system accepted it. A new block appeared, a cold flame, one Earth-sized world, vast oceans, untamed continents, dragons in the sky. Rusty posted the confirmation, status, memory anchor successful. Rusty later confirmed there was no prior entry. It manifested after the group effort. As one operator put it, this is more acknowledgement than Sean's given us in 3 years. Sit with that. The community didn't just restore Emily's memories. They wrote a new one into existence for a game that barely exists yet, and the system took it as real. While all this was happening, the community turned the magnifying glass on the architect himself. A hidden page described a 41-year-old soloed French developer. Outerworld connected it to the old Waking Titan lore, a birthday of April 13th, 1985. A post titled When We Were 17, dated May 2002, which lines up exactly. A name surfaced, Arnaud, a man with, as Polyphemus noted, a license in philosophy. That's a French university degree, not a license to philosophize. He was supposedly writing a game called Les Tablettes de Mnemosyne, the Tablets of Mnemosyne, the Titaness of Memory, when he got trapped in the system. Tadumcious called it, I think we've just found our guy. The community started calling him Arnie. But, and this is the part the system would love for me to gloss over, that photo of Arnaud? It's a stock image off Unsplash. And Arnaud Lacour wasn't a real developer. He was a fictional character Allison Smith invented for Waking Titan back in 2017. And that same stock photo was his fake headshot then too. So which is it? Did we just unmask a real French developer named Arnaud? Or did we just find the mask he wants us to find, a fictional identity recycled from a 9-year-old ARG planted for us to discover? I genuinely don't know. And in an ARG, that ambiguity is usually the point. Whoever Ghost is, Tadumcious floated the theory that Ghost might be a fragment of Arnaud's own psyche, a corrupted copy of himself, trapped in the machine, a man fighting to save a system that contains a piece of him. Hold on to that, because it's about to get personal for the architect too. On June the 17th, a second website finally woke up. It started as a bare WordPress site, the Skyscraper Architect-ywvhk.wordpress.com. Then renamed itself recalldreams.dev with a tagline, what makes a memory worth keeping? But look at that original URL, ywvhk. That's not noise. Run it through the school cipher, the same substitution cipher the architect's been using all along, and ywvhk decodes to tower. The word tower was sitting in that URL encoded weeks before the community even had the cipher to read it. This was planted from the beginning. I added automatic cipher decoding and French translation to my archive site this week, honestly just to keep up. Every one of these messages is in French and encrypted. Automating it felt less like cheating and more like survival. And the moment people started poking at tower, the system slammed the door. A security log. Threat: multiple unauthorized access attempts targeting tower. Tower integrity compromised. Lockdown initiated. Opening door protocol terminated. Access to tower was cut, and Ghost was furious. An email hit the public inbox the same night, and Ghost was so rattled they forgot to even encrypt it. Why did you cut off access to tower? I need that access. So now we've got two entities, the architect and Ghost, and one of them just locked the other out of the most important room in the building. The relationship is fracturing, and then the system did something neither of them sanctioned. First, the part I promised you at the top. When tower showed up, I did what I do. I archived everything. a Wayback Machine mirror of the whole site at archive.goodguysfree.com. Every page and security log snapshotted over time, and the system noticed. A new security log appeared. Status, external archive detected. Operator ID, GoodGuysFree. Alert, multiple temporal snapshots of the system captured. Function, temporal mirror. Warning, archives span from pre-connection period to the moment of disconnection. Some snapshots exist only during active tower connection. Action required, confirm exact timestamps of connection start and connection end. Isolate the active link window between the tower and system. The system flagged my archive, named me as an operator, called it a temporal mirror, and explained exactly what is required. Lindwer solved this quickly by entering the exact timestamp of when we first heard of tower and the time of the disconnection, and this appeared. Notice this part, building connection bypass protocol. But here's the bigger move. Shortly after that, the system reached out to a person, a forum user, Vector Commander, got an email, not from the architect, not from Ghost, from the system itself, handing one operator the keys to undo the lockdown. The puzzle was beautiful and personal. A password-protected page, and the password was Vector Commander's own operator name, Vector Commander. The system knew exactly who it was talking to. Inside an emulated terminal, and 4 hidden base64 strings, XOR scrambled, and the confirmation code came back. System sees tower. Type confirm reconnection, and the terminal answered, access granted to project Skyscraper. A final log confirmed it. Tower reconnection.init. Status, reconnection successful. Tower link restored. Connection restored, not by the architect, not by Ghost, but by the system, using a community member as its hands. It routed around its own creator. That semi-autonomous flag from day one, it seems pretty autonomous to me now. Now, in case you didn't know, Vector Commander has been archiving the website since June the 4th, and I was able to backfill some of my archive snapshots from his as he suggested. Thanks, Commander. And then the architect wrote to Ghost again. This one isn't a clue, it's a confession. Yes, it's me. I panicked. Tower's security level wasn't sufficient. They managed to extract data. I thought the best solution was to cut everything off. Forgive me. So it was him, the architect, cut off Tower. Not an automated defense, not Ghost. He panicked when our archives started pulling data out, and he pulled the plug himself. But it's the next part that stopped me cold. System contacted the operators directly and gave them a solution to restore the connection autonomously, without any intervention on my part. I'm fascinated and frightened at the same time. Soon it won't need me anymore. I'm going to do what I have to do, as I promised you. Read that back. The man who built this thing is scared of it. It reached past him to us and fixed itself, and he knows what that means. Soon it won't need me anymore. This stopped being a puzzle box this week. It's a story about someone losing control of the thing he made and being unable to look away. If this was worth your time, hit like and subscribe. It genuinely helps. GoodGuysFree here, and I'll see you again soon. And like always, drop a comment with anything I missed or got wrong, because at this point, I'm not sure anyone has the full picture. Maybe not even the architect.